Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Weekly Spark. This week I'm not going to list what we're going to talk about because not every week gives us something genuinely worth shouting about. An iPadOS update that's mostly security patches might be important, but it's not exactly gripping viewing. And moaning yet again about how the Kindle Scribe Coloursoft is still not available to purchase in the UK, despite rumours saying it is. It's really not, I've checked, starts to feel repetitive, even to me. So, rather than forcing a news roundup that doesn't really deserve the name, I thought I'd use this episode to focus on something that is worth paying attention to, a rumour that's gaining real momentum, and answering a question about how Apple's lineup might look over the next few years. There's been a noticeable uptick in credible reporting around Apple's foldable plans, and for once, it's not just vague speculation. Multiple supply chain sources and analysts are now broadly aligned on one thing. Apple has been actively working on a foldable iPhone with a launch window of late 2026. The main device being discussed is a book-style fold, not a flip, interestingly, which I personally would love. The key detail on this folding iPhone that's caught people's attention is the inner display size, which is rumoured to be around 7.8 inches when unfolded. And that puts it very close to the physical footprint of an iPad mini, 8.3 inches. And that, I think, leads us to an intriguing question. If an iPhone can unfold into something roughly iPad mini sized, does the iPad mini still make sense? On paper, the overlap looks obvious. A foldable iPhone would give you a phone in your pocket that opens out into a small tablet. For some users, particularly those who already feel like they're carrying far too many devices, that's an attractive idea. And it's not hard to imagine a subset of iPad mini owners deciding they no longer need a separate small tablet if their phone can do double duty. But this is where the speculation often runs ahead of the reality. First, price matters. Every serious estimate puts Apple's foldable firmly in the ultra premium territory. Figures well above $2,000 keep coming up. That's a very different proposition to an iPad mini, which you can buy new for around $500. And that alone limits how much real cannibalization is likely to happen. Second, form factor still matters, even if the screen sizes converge. A foldable iPhone is still a phone first. It will likely have compromises built in. Thickness, weight, distribution, durability concerns, particularly with what will be a softer screen, and the simple fact that it folds down the middle. An iPad mini, by contrast, is a flat, purpose-built tablet designed for sustained use. Reading, watching, note-taking, sketching. These are all things most people tend to do for longer stretches on an iPad than they ever do on a phone, folded or otherwise. There's also the question of accessories and workflows. The iPad mini already fits neatly into Apple's Pencil ecosystem and iPadOS way of working. Even if Apple adds Pencil support to a foldable, and that's not guaranteed, in fact, I'd suggest they'd have to release a version of the Pencil that would need to work on that aforementioned softer surface. It's unlikely to replace the more comfortable, stable experience of a dedicated tablet anytime soon. On saying all that, it would be foolish to think that a foldable iPhone wouldn't nibble away at the iPad mini's audience. Power users who want those fewer devices, are comfortable paying a premium, and mainly use a mini for casual reading or browsing might decide the foldable is enough. That's plausible. What's far less convincing is the idea that the foldable simply kills off the iPad mini. Apple has always been comfortable running overlapping products when the use cases are distinct. And right now, there's no sign Apple wants to collapse iPadOS into the phone experience or create yet another OS. So the more realistic takeaway is this: Apple's foldable plans are real. They will blur category lines, and that may put pressure on the iPad mini to justify its place more clearly. But based on rumours concerning screen size, pricing direction and so on, the foldable looks more like a complementary or niche alternative rather than a clean replacement. The bottom line, amongst all this speculation, this isn't an iPad mini killer story. Yet. Okay, that's all folks, but before you go, I'd genuinely be interested to know what you think. If Apple does release a foldable iPhone, would that change how you see the iPad mini? Or do you think they will serve different purposes? Please do let me know in the comments. If you ever come across something you think is genuinely worth covering, you can email me at markfromthespark@gmail.com. I'm always open to leads, especially when it's something that might otherwise slip under the radar. And if you appreciate this video and my thoughts on a potential foldable iPhone, buy me a digital coffee as a thank you would be really appreciated. The QR code's been on the screen throughout the video, or you'll find a link in the description. If you're watching this on YouTube, the Weekly Spark is a new channel spun off from my main review channel, which I've linked in the description. A like will really help. And if you subscribe, hopefully there'll be a bit more news to actually talk about in future episodes. Thanks for watching or listening. I'm Mark from the Weekly Spark, and I'll see you in the next one.